Hi, Jim. It's Lydia. I'm just saying hi.
I'm on the Zoom now. I have to go.
Awesome. Hi.
Put it in the car. Thank you, it's Jean. I'm on, put it in my car. Hi, my friend was dropping something off in my car. I'm sorry. How are you?
Okay.
I
We're just going to mute you for now till the
Hey, it's Gordon.
Gordon, welcome.
So I can't see anyone, but I'm getting on. Okay, I see now.
I'm going to just rename folks. Oh, there's Meryl. Welcome, Meryl, too.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
We won't start till 5. We're just kind of gathering the folks. I'll put my video on here. And we're expecting a couple more, the Lucas Manning, as well as Tom Sigia and Secretary Carol Ubriaco. We'll do an introduction thing once the meeting is started.
I just want to say welcome to Jim and Gordon,
Well, thank you very much.
both on board.
Hey, Meryl, thank you.
Appreciate it.
As you can see, I'm in my car having just made site visits in the city.
Oh,
Thank
wow.
you for being with us in your car.
It is
Great.
my pleasure.
Wonderful.
It's not the most complimentary angle.
It's fine. It's fine.
Hard to get one of those on Zoom. Let's see.
Monochromatic.
For some reason, I can't get my volume to go up.
I can hear you fine.
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I hear you guys faintly, so if I don't respond, just repeat.
Officially, we can't start until 5. And here we have Tom. We're waiting for Carol.
Looks like Luke is here too.
Hey, good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, everybody. It's Tom.
Um,
Hey, Tom.
Hi, Tom.
Hey, how you doing?
Love that we have kayaks and sand for our meeting.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Nice view.
Oh,
Wait, at least they didn't float away.
Yes.
right.
I went for a walk out at Pleasant Point today and there was a canoe filled with water on the beach, unattached to any
Oh.
buoy. So if anybody needs a canoe,
Oh, there she is.
oh, good.
All right. I usually do I have the booby prize of doing the technology stuff, and Meryl is going to go through the agenda.
Yes, thank you for taking the booby prize. I appreciate it. So we're very happy to have both Gordon and Jim here with us. And let's see, I guess we were thinking about going around with introductions and then, well, yeah, we should go around with introductions just in case you don't know everybody on the commission. So I'm Meryl Mead Fox. I'm co-chair with Lydia.
Lydia Vivante.
Okay, Carol Ubriaco, I'm the secretary.
Glad to meet you.
Hello, Jim. Welcome, Gordon.
Gordon, Jim, it's Tom Sigia.
Hey, Tom, good to see you.
Good seeing you.
I'm having trouble hearing, but I'm Gordon.
Welcome, Gordon.
Thank you.
And Luke?
I'm Luke Manning.
Glad to meet you, Luke.
How
Nice
do
to
you hear?
meet you.
Yeah, it's great to have this full complement of historical commissioners. It's really
Yeah.
something.
It's great. And let's see, the first item on the agenda is 206 Holbrook Avenue, and we're going to be talking about window replacement there.
And Jean Bowden is, I'll unmute you, or you unmute yourself. Not yet. Jean,
Okay, wait. Oh, hi, I just think it worked. Thank you. I'm
Yes.
getting used to this now. And how are you tonight? Welcome to the new people.
Thank you.
Gordon's last name sounds familiar to me. I think I did a thing once with him, the last name, I don't know, same last name, some kind of historical thing. So anyway, yes, this is about 206 Holbrook Avenue, and it's a very historical house. I did some research on it. I love looking up the history of these houses. And it's a Greek Revival single-family dwelling built in 1870. And it's in the Historical Register. So the homeowner is Adrian Gannon, and she would like Capizzi Home Improvement to replace her windows, which are, a squirrel got into her house and chewed everything up and kind of wrecked the inside of her house. So that created a problem. It ate the windowsills and supposedly the grills, and that's the story. That's what I was told. So they want to replace 6 they want to use Harvey Classic windows. There's 5 replacements and 1 new construction. And they're doing the simulated divided lights with the grills to match the existing that are there now. So the difference would be mostly that the material is vinyl clad instead of what they have now, which is wood. So I'm presenting what they want, and then we'll have to see what you think they should do. And I think I've designated the areas, and I put in some photographs of exactly which windows. And the one window that's at the left side has a wall that's kind of rotten and leaking. So they're going to, redo that wall and put a regular window in there, the same window, but it's a new construction rather than a replacement.
should I go to the share screen? Or let me know when you want to go there.
Can I just ask, does somebody have a radio or something going on in the background? Because there's a little bit of interference.
My birds are tweeting. I have some parakeets. Do you hear them? Maybe, wait a
I'm
minute.
not sure what I hear.
Yeah.
Are hearing I don't know if
Parakeets, but I don't think that's distracting. I think I agree with you. There's some kind of radio or something.
Although now that she's gone, it's quieter. So maybe it was something. Oh no, there it is again.
Oh, you know what it could be? I also have my dishwasher on. Wait, let me turn that off. Is that better?
Yes, that's better. Thank you.
It doesn't take too much on these Zoom meetings to interfere.
Yeah, we learned so much about each other.
Oh my God. Well, I have these, since I'm trapped in the house, I got these 2 parakeets.
Ah,
When they get bored, I put like my old Samsung and they watch bird videos, but that's. So I didn't know if you were hearing that. I guess I get used to that. And it makes it very happy. I'm sorry.
Lydia, I think it'd be great if you could put up what you have about the house.
Give it a try.
I tried to give you a lot of stuff.
That's great.
This is the application. Do you also see the thumbnails on the left?
Yes.
So you can tell me which picture you want to go to by saying what number picture it is, please.
Um,
Mine are in order, unfortunately, here. That's the two of those are the two we're doing replacements right there. They're not touching the outside trim on those at all. So that's the replacement, and I have it labeled, that picture at the bottom.
Can you go to picture 2, Lydia?
And then that's another, those are the two upstairs windows, even though you can see two of the four that, and we're not doing those two right under, it's the two on the top with the shutters. Those are two that are going to be replaced also.
And are you replacing the 3 down to the left of the door?
No, just the two to the right, the closest to the door. No, it's way up. There's 4 windows and there's only 2 they're replacing of those 4. So if you, the problem, so if you look, okay, if you go back to the other picture, you'll see that you can only see one of the 2 above. So those 2 are the far left. If you look at, and then if you go, yeah, I know it's a little confusing. I did not take the picture. So there's a little window box under it. So those 2 are to the far left of the house with the window box. So if you go to the next picture up again, then you'll see those. So you'll see the door. So the 2
Yeah,
to the
can I-
we're not
I
replacing.
do want to interrupt you a second. Can I just ask, why are you replacing just 2 of the 4?
I think
What-
those are the ones that are just, I don't, that I don't know. I was gonna find out because it seems like possibly they should, but I guess they're not as in bad a shape or something.
Can I ask, on the application, it says replace 5 windows on the front. So what are the 5 windows? Is it the 3 on the bottom and the 2 on the top?
Okay, 2 on the top, 2
Yeah.
on, 2 of those 3, and then there's one other one to the next, there's another picture of the other one to the left, if you go down. It's kind of, okay, there, I keep going down. I think that might be the one we're doing the whole replacement. I think there's another picture there. One more, if you go down a little bit more. It's that one.
This
That's
is the left
another
picture.
Yes.
Or,
So you don't really see them. They're sort of to the side, but they're in the front.
So they're part of, this looks like kind of an added on porch in the house. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yes, they had, we don't know when they did it, but there's sort of a little porch area. So,
I'm
But-
still confused though, because A on the application says replace 5 windows on the front. What
okay,
are the 5 on the front?
okay, the 5 on the front, and unfortunately I meant the one to the left there, way to the left. The 2, this person, okay, so
okay, folks, yeah,
this, first of all, 2 of the windows are the 2 with the shutters. Those are those 2. And then don't even look at those bottom things. Go to the next picture. Go down, I guess, or up. I'm trying to think. I should have had them in the order and once I sent them. Okay, then those 2 are being replaced and there's 4 and these 2 are being replaced. Not all 4. They are the furthest over to the left side of the house, looking at it from the front. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the 5th one is to the left. So I probably shouldn't have said they were on the front. I guess that's sort of the side.
on the side. Yeah, they're on the side, the ones that are the 2 over.
If you look, I wish he took a picture of the house from the street, but I do have one from your tax record. And you can see that those are kind of
Yeah.
around the corner almost, even though you see them from the front. So that's the one though, that is in rough shape. It's the whole has to be fixed and they're going to take out, they're going to replace the clapboard and the trim and they're going to duplicate it exactly the way it is.
And so are you saying that they're going to replace both of the windows on either side of that porch in front? There's one on each side?
Yeah, but this one's going to be what they call a new construction. They cannot use a replacement window because the wall is there's so much rot in there that they can't do that. They have to actually take the window out, reframe that, put the new clapboard and put the window in and duplicate the trim around it and make it look exactly the way it is.
So if I may, my concern about this
Okay.
is that the difference between a replacement window and new construction. and the difference between the two that they're replacing at the front elevation that faces Holbrook and the two that will remain. I'd like to be sure that the glass area in each of the replacement windows and new window matches the glass area of
Right.
the windows that exist.
Well, that's true because replacement windows, you lose glass.
Exactly. If it
You lose
goes
the
into
square
an
footage.
opening and it's not framed out to the studs between them.
Exactly. It goes into it's just the sash.
Right.
Will probably look a little smaller, you're right, but the new construction one will be exact.
Right.
What about trying to restore the group of four
Oh,
windows, the
That's-
two
well,
in particular that
the
are,
problem is it's a
let
real
me,
mess inside.
let me just finish, because I think there might be an opportunity here to make it look good
Okay,
if everything on those four windows together are similar
they are.
and the same. I think they will, they have the original hardware. There's also the little cleat up at the top that would hold a storm window. So they look like they're all in original condition. And since they're right at eye level, any difference between the two and the other two would really stick out.
Yeah.
So what I think would be best is to have the restoration person look at those two on the left and work on that. And then the other windows, I wouldn't be averse to seeing replacement windows in those.
I mean, the
up
four
there.
windows that are forward facing towards Holbrook Avenue really have a great deal to do with establishing the character of this house.
Mhm.
And I think if that rhythm of those four equal windows with the similarized details, original details, is not maintained, it will have a negative impact on the forward facing appearance of the house.
Okay,
I agree with that. I'm concerned that all four of those windows should match each other too. If
Yes.
only two of them are replaced and two of them are the original historic windows, it's going to look horrible.
I actually was thinking about that myself, but I told them I would present what they wanted and then we would get some feedback from you and then come back. So what you're saying is that I will write this down. I think last time you did this, you sent me something. Those four windows should all be the same, whatever we do, and they should look exactly like what's there. So maybe, try to restore them as best. If they can't, find a window that would be exactly the same.
Right. If they can present a drawing that shows the details of the existing windows
All right.
compared to the details of the new windows that they're replacing,
Okay.
and identify those portions of the hardware that would in fact match exactly, then I
Okay.
suppose they could replace just two of them. But it seems unlikely to me that you'd be able to find two windows that replacement windows that match the two existing windows.
Okay.
Gordon, does it seem more possible to you if they were restored two of the windows to have them look similar, or would that be equally difficult?
No, I think restoration of the original windows would be good,
Uh-huh.
particularly if the original windows are wood.
They
Yeah.
are, I believe. Well, there is someone that I've heard of recently that does that, and I can look into it. There's some issue with what I was told, a squirrel got in the house and completely chewed up the inside of the windows. Now, I don't know what exactly that means. Maybe we'll get pictures, but now as far as the upper ones though, those two look like more standard windows and they almost don't look like the original windows, but maybe I'm wrong about that. So
Yeah.
those two, if we did replacement, as long as it doesn't make the windows at least they'd match is what those
Well,
two
certainly the
don't,
light configuration has to match,
yeah,
and certainly the Mutton dimension should match,
right. And they
as
don't,
should the SAS dimension.
yeah, they don't want to disturb what's over it, the dental molding and everything either. That's
Yeah,
probably,
that all has to stay.
yeah.
Did I hear correctly that you said they were going to be plastic windows?
Well,
in
they're going to be vinyl is what they want, rather than clad, like, so they are wanting to put Harvey's vinyl classic windows with the simulated divided lights, which is similar to the Anderson, but it's not a clad, it's a different type of cladding. It's a vinyl clad.
So Is it a wood window with cladding over it, with
No.
vinyl over it, or is it an entirely vinyl?
I think it's entirely vinyl, and I think I did give you the specs on that too, for for that window. I also have some pictures of the insides of these windows too, and you can see, like in certain areas, there's a mess. Okay, I'm pretty sure I gave you the Harvey's information, which with my thing, I don't know if you go further down, if you could see that. I believe I attached it.
Yeah.
They are a vinyl double hung window. So,
Yeah, Harveys are usually, or possibly all of them are vinyl, without a wood core.
right, they have some wood windows, but this is their vinyl product, absolutely.
The two upper windows would be replacement windows, keeping the molding and the exterior trim intact, and you do replacement sashes. Is that what you're
Yes.
proposing?
That's what he told me. So those two would be also replaced. So those are the two they were definitely going to replace with the same grill configuration, which looks to me like 2/2.
Yes.
Seems
The obvious nice part about doing the replacement window is you get to keep the window trim and that dental detail intact,
Right.
but most of the replacement windows are just inserted relying on that bead of silicone, and sometimes can lead to more rot down the line. So I mean, there's a plus and the minus to doing the replacements.
I don't think he would have suggested this replacement if those were that rotten upstairs. I mean, as far as I only go by what they give me this thing and they say, this is what we would like to see if we can get approved. And then it's up to you to let us know what you want, and we can, whatever you want to do, we'll come back if we have to. So
I'm gonna try and open up the second email.
Can I just ask, is the vinyl clad window wood on the inside or is it vinyl on the outside and the inside?
they are absolutely vinyl on, it's a welded sash frame design. It's a one-piece sill. So it's all, they're basically all vinyl.
Mm,
They also make it with a interior wood grain, which, I'm not think that she's getting that, but I
Do
did-
you install a lot of Harvey Industries
yes.
products, or is it the homeowner?
Well, no, we do a lot of Harveys. We tried another company, and we also do the Anderson inserts. They have them also. Done those, and we've done them up on Commercial Street, and we got them. They were approved on another meeting we had.
mhm.
Where were they installed?
So they also make an insert. So
She came in front of us for the yellow house down near Uncle Tim's Bridge,
Right.
on the opposite side of the street.
Well, it doesn't really matter though, which house it was. I mean, I think my concern is that this is a historic house and I don't feel that a vinyl window inside and out is appropriate.
I agree with that, and I'm not too sure how the vinyl's going to look with the wood either. There is a plastic look about it.
Yeah,
Yeah, and-
over time, certainly.
And it yellows and warps, and vinyl is not a very good choice.
and it shines at night.
All kinds of things happen with vinyl. They discolor.
I do think that fundamentally, the 4 forward-facing windows on the first floor have to look identical to one another.
Yes.
And the light configurations of the windows on the second floor have to match that which exists, which is 2/2.
Yeah.
And then if they're replacing the window on one side of the forward projection, the enclosed porch, wouldn't they also necessarily replace the opposite window so that we have similarity?
Mhm.
Again, I don't want to be too difficult, but it's really quite a prominent porch on Holbrook.
Mhm.
Exactly. It's very
Yeah.
close to the street and you see every little bit of it, including the sides, much more than you would in other houses. I agree with you.
Yeah, I do too.
Maybe you should look into restoration for all of the windows in the porch and replace the upper two. We could grant permission easily for upper two and look
We wanna-
again at a plan for the ones on the porch.
Do we want to approve vinyl windows?
I wouldn't.
I personally have a hard time with vinyl windows, but I don't want to
I-
be too impositional.
I do too.
I do
And
too.
so if we
Jean-
were to propose a different window, I guess I'm wondering, especially with Luke and Gordon, I think about the Anderson windows that at least have wood on the inside. What do the two of you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, Luke, what's your experience? It seems to me that the Anderson sounds like it's a step up from Harvey, but I've never worked with Harvey windows.
Well, I personally, I like both Andersons and Marvins, which can be ordered,
Yeah.
you know,
I mean,
pretty
Marvin
easily.
is what we
on-
usually specify when
Yeah.
we're in a situation like this,
Um,
but I don't want to be proprietary.
yeah, personally, I think Harveys are, you know, they're nice in that you can save a little money on the window unit, but and as far as like the U factor and stuff goes, they'll meet code, but I personally don't think they're quite as nice or quite as convincing as far as historically accurate goes. But that's my opinion.
And what do
Yeah.
the two of you think about I'm assuming we all agree wood on the inside. What do you think about the outside of the window?
Well, most of the windows have some coating. It's wood that's been coated
Mhm,
to protect it from the elements,
mhm.
but it's not like a hollow vinyl product.
So
which-
you're there, right? Okay, I got it.
Mhm.
I'm not huge on replacement windows in general. I personally, I try to steer people away from them. It's nice to have the option of keeping the trim, and it's a trade-off. You can keep the trim, but I've seen more replacements that have ended up relying on that bead of caulk, and
Mhm.
then when that fails, everything goes downhill rapidly. So I think putting in a real full window and trying to reproduce the trim detail around it is a better way if you have the option. And like you pointed out, the replacement windows, you're going in the same opening and the glass gets smaller, so everything gets a little tighter on the window when there's less glass.
And there's an extra piece of kind of frame around the window, right?
Yeah, it's basically the sashes come out and the replacement's inserted within the old window frame and siliconed into place pretty much. But
I've had Anderson renewals for 10 years or more, and they've been absolutely fine. My 200-year-old house in New York. They
Yeah.
look like wood. I can't distinguish them from the wood windows. I've
Mhm.
seen vinyl windows and they look pretty terrible after a while. They're very easily. I think in the end, the owner is going to be unhappy with the vinyl. And I wouldn't be afraid to tell her that. Yeah, it certainly is not going to look very good on an historic house.
Yeah.
So I think that if you write up something and then I would have them go back and present it and see if we can do it, would make it look better. What you think? I mean, that's part, I told them that we would have to see what happens here. I meant the builder, Jack Strumsky. He's
So we
talking
need to
about-
have a motion and a vote. Yes, Lydia?
Yeah, I think so, unless we just want to continue it. But I think we want to give them some clear guidance, so when they come back, can look at it again more clearly.
well, it sounds like
So,
a priority would be to keep those narrow windows, all uniform, whatever route's taken, to have those be consistent and not two different, slightly different styles of window.
Or material even, so I'll write that down. So keep all 4 windows consistent.
Um,
I think in terms of size, glass area, material, and detail.
Would you be completely against, say, vinyl, the Anderson insert ones, that which are like the renewals, but they're, I was another house that I had come before you, and that's what got approved. They're the clad.
I don't think we approved vinyl, did we?
No, it wasn't, they weren't vinyl. They were the Anderson. They're definitely not vinyl. They're
Okay.
another material.
Yeah,
They're wood windows that are clad.
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah.
That seems reasonable to me. Luke, what do you think?
I think so, and that way the trim detail could remain intact.
Yeah.
So would someone like to make a motion?
Okay.
Maybe Luke.
I can try. I think I might need some help from Gordon and Luke. So it seems the first recommendation would be to keep all of the windows consistent with the way they are now in terms of the setup of the mullions and the style of the window.
Mhm.
Is that? And then the second would be to look into restoration of the windows on the porch, in the front of the porch. And the third would be to look into Anderson or Marvin wooden windows that are clad for the upstairs and the sides of the porch. Is that correct?
Yes, and that if the 2 windows on the Holbrook facing portion of the porch can't be restored, then all 4 windows should be replaced.
Yeah, thank you.
And then I can come back with some specs from the other window company.
Great.
Okay, I'm trying to get this down for the sake of the minutes. We said that all 4 front windows should be consistent in terms of size, glass area, material, and style.
Mhm.
Yeah, and detail.
And the restoration of these windows, if possible, and if not, look into Anderson or Marvin wood-clad windows. Now, for the top 2 and the 2 sides, are we recommending the same thing, or? I'm sorry,
We're recommending the same thing, although I think we weren't requiring restoration, but do we want to? But what do the rest of you think?
Because it's so prominent, I think restoration, that should always be the first
Uh-huh.
option, preferred option.
So I guess it
There
would
is
be,
someone local that does good, really good work.
there's a lady in Orleans I've heard about, but I don't. Luke, you were going to look into her, right?
Yeah, I spoke with her a couple times, and she was very easy to speak with, and she had some good ideas, and she was ready to jump in and restore windows that come her way for sure. She has replacement glass, and she's very knowledgeable, but it's not without a significant cost.
Yeah, that's the only,
Yeah.
so if we did the one window that was going to be the new construction, that would have to be a new construction Anderson clad, because the wall needs to be reframed or, restored, completely done over.
But the window could be saved and reinstalled, or the
Well,
window-
no, that window is a real mess, especially that's why they're doing that. But I would say it would match the Anderson new construction window would match the Anderson inserts much better.
Yeah.
I don't think you can restore that. I think that one has got some, rot in the walls or something. There's something going on there that they wanted to do that.
The other nice thing with replacing the windows instead of having work done to them would be that those aluminum Storm windows would most likely be obsolete with a new unit. You wouldn't, so they could come off and you wouldn't see them anymore.
Right.
But
Right, because the new windows would have insulated glass.
Yes, and that's another thing. The whole thing would be much more energy efficient.
Yeah.
But
I bet they're leaking a lot of air. Just-
So I
that
guess-
said,
yeah,
with
there
the
is
new
another
insulated
person.
glass windows, it's important to keep the mutton details
Right.
consistent in dimension to that which exists.
So I noticed the ones down below do not have any grills, obviously. Even though, you know, yeah, so they're without them. She's
But the
got,
ones upstairs and the two on the side.
they absolutely match. They're all the same.
Mhm.
All right, so I will have him get all this pulled together and then maybe we can come back.
Well, first we need to finish with the motion and the vote.
Okay.
So Carol, how are you doing with the
I'm
motion?
very confused. Okay, I have the 4 front windows need to be the same in terms of size, glass area, material, and style. We
Oh,
recommend,
but it's detail. Detail is the word that I think Gordon used.
Mhm.
detail rather than
Detail.
which word, style?
Rather
Right.
than style, yeah.
Okay, in detail.
Period.
We recommend the restoration of these windows as a first choice and recommend looking into Anderson or Marvin wood clad windows if replacement is necessary,
Mhm.
right?
That's great.
And then I'm not exactly sure how to phrase the other windows.
I'm sorry, how to phrase what?
What we're recommending for the other windows. We're recommending Anderson or Marvin replacements.
I think it's basically the same thing, to look into restoration of the other four windows. It's exactly the same wording, isn't it?
Okay,
The other four? I mean, it seems like it may be less likely that restoration will happen there, but the recommendation would still be Marvin or Anderson.
okay. And then we're recommending that the other windows be replaced, restored first or replaced like for like. In other words, the same styles, right? Is that what we're trying to say? Is that what we're trying to say?
You're saying the Marvin and Anderson wood clad windows for the upstairs ones, the 2 upstairs, and the 2 side, if they can't be restored.
Yeah, I don't think we want to say like for like though, because it's a completely different window than what they have now.
They would have the same grill and we would do the
Same grill. with
it looks
matching
like
grill.
the spacers it would look like their true divided lights, but they would be the spacers and the simulated divided lights in
Mhm.
and out, outside and inside.
Right. So maybe that's a good thing to put in the motion for the upstairs windows and the 2 side windows on the porch.
What are we trying to say there, Lydia? I'm really
That,
sorry.
I think I got it. That there's going to be Marvin or Anderson wood clad simulated divided light windows following the original pattern or dividing pattern.
I was thinking that you could just use the same wording you used for the first item. Am I wrong?
Well, we wanted to indicate that those 4 across the front had to be the same. So that's why I kind of separated them out.
Okay, just in terms of the 4 characteristics, the 4 adjectives that you used.
Right.
Can you repeat those adjectives? Because I think those would apply.
Right, size, glass area, material, and detail.
Yeah. Am I right about that, Gordon and Luke?
Yeah, that's right. The only thing I'm thinking, and I don't know, I may be coming from a different place here, is that if we say Marvin or Anderson, do we say or equal?
yeah, I think that's a good idea. I wouldn't want to tie anybody's hands into going with a particular 2 brands, but the idea is to move away from all vinyl unit.
Yeah, and we don't want to tell anybody what to buy. Again, I don't want to be, proprietary. I think
No, you're
or
right.
equal is fine. I mean, a wood-clad window, such as Marvin, Anderson, or equal.
So we
Okay.
can take out the Marvin or so, all right.
And Pella, I think, does them.
Yeah, Pella is a good option, but there's others out there. Those are the three big names, though, for sure.
But there are many others.
Yeah, but at least it
And
gives.
we don't want to force somebody to spend more money unnecessarily if they can find something for less that will do the same thing.
Right,
Yeah.
so Anderson, Marvin, or similar type of wood clad window.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
Okay, got it.
okay. So do you want to read the motion, Carol? Or do we want to just vote on it? I'll read.
All right, I'll read it. I don't mind. All four front windows must be consistent in terms of size, glass area, material, and detail. Upstairs, and the upstairs windows and the windows on the two sides should be simulated divided lights in the existing pattern. We recommend the restoration of these windows as a first choice, and Anderson or Marvin wood clad windows or windows of a similar type as a second choice.
Great, okay.
I'll second it. I did want to say that the four on the front, on the porch, the little ones,
Mhm.
that maybe to have a little bit more of a request to restore those rather, I don't know.
They're very nice, aren't they? They look
Yeah.
really.
Lovely.
They're lovely.
yeah,
actually.
the proportions are so lovely of them.
We got to make them look the same.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess we could just make it clear that we have a strong preference for restoration on those four windows in front.
I know a man that did.
Maybe start the sentence off with a preference for restoring those four. If you,
So the motion's been seconded. Shall we vote?
sure, Lydia, I.
Merrill, I.
Carol, I.
Tom, I.
Luke, I.
Gordon, I.
And did I hear a Jim, I?
Yeah, we heard Jim.
Okay, so that's everybody. That's unanimous.
Thank you very much. And you could email me that possibly after you write it up, and then I can present it to them.
Yes, yeah,
We did that last time and we ended up coming back and it worked out. So
yeah. Okay, thanks so much.
I'm sorry it gets a little confusing. You go on what people want and then you have to see.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah.
it's such a
Yeah,
cute
thank
house.
you.
Yeah, beautiful.
Thank you very much. Have a nice night.
You too.
too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Okay, so, and now we're on to 20 Briar Lane is the next item. And we've been talking about 20 Briar Lane each month while it's been under the up to 18 months demolition delay. I sent a note to the owners of 20 Briar Lane this month to ask them if they could give us an update about their plans because this month they were supposed to go before the Zoning Board of Appeals again, and they withdrew from meeting with them. So, which I found out in the process of watching the meeting, but there was no mention made of why they withdrew. So I just wanted to check in. And I got a note back from Thor that said, at this point, we have no plans. So that was
Sorry, you
not,
said he has new plans?
he said, we have no plans.
No plans.
And so I called the building inspector to see if I could get a little more information. And he said that their request for demolition is still in his hands. So they haven't given up on that, but that he understood that they were kind of taking a break and trying to decide what they want to do next, which I assume has to do with the fact that the ZBA had a lot of limitations that they were putting on what they could do with parking and with the entrance into the building and that kind of thing. So I sent him a note back and said that we continue to be interested in having a conversation with them about alternatives, and that's where it's at. Any
Very good.
questions or comments? Okay. So the next item is to discuss accepting paper applications at the Wellfleet Building Department. Do you want to talk about that, Lydia?
Sure. So usually people do send us requests by email, but once in a while we'll get an application on paper that's sent to the town hall. And it can be a problem, especially during the pandemic, for us to get the mail. We used to be able to go to the second floor, pick it up, no problem, file things we needed to file there, etc. So I mentioned this to the Paul Fowler, the building inspector, and he said that they would be willing to accept applications there at the building department. The regular mail would still go to the town hall, things from the Mass Historical Commission or the Cape Cod Commission or whatever else. Invoices, things from our preservation consultant would still go to the town hall, but the applications could go to the building department. So I said I'd ask the commission what you all felt about that.
Does it make it any more difficult for you, Lydia, not to have it on the email in terms of, you know, putting it on the Historical Commission Gmail account, or is it?
I always prefer it. I think we all prefer it to get it by email. That way we can share it, especially with Zoom. It would be, say, really hard to get a paper application, then have to scan it, and that would be more involved. So in our project application, we say, please email it, or we offer a mailing option. It's just the location, and maybe the good thing about the building department is they could let us know when it comes in. Whereas at the town hall, it kind of goes to the principal clerk, and they don't have time to look through every, sort the mail basically and call us when we have something.
Mhm.
It might be a good thing for the applications to go to the building department.
Is there any way that it would increase our efficiency to have it go there?
It could, yeah, it could.
In-
I think
in-
so. Just that someone's going to be receiving it and can give us a heads up if something comes in that
Mhm.
didn't come in by email.
Yeah.
Just the extra work of scanning everything, you know?
Yeah, well, we can make a request, like say if something comes in, we can say, thanks very much for this. Do you have it in digital form? Can you
Yeah.
email it to us? We could ask the person.
Hmm.
Really, I think mostly things are going to come by email. Everyone seems comfortable with that. I think it's a good idea to have the applications go there just because they can
Mhm.
notify us if something comes in.
In most cases, Paul would be requesting that somebody come in front of historic after inquiring about a building permit. So he could probably email us, letting us know what was going to be headed our way, prior to him receiving a paper copy from somebody. And then maybe it could be emailed to you, but he would be able to notify you that something's coming. Because I think he'd know what was hanging out there prior to it showing up again in the Dropbox at the building department. In most cases,
Yeah.
he'd be the one requesting that somebody go in front of historic.
Okay, he would
So-
hand them or email them the application then, in other words.
So I think you could receive it in email, and if it's more efficient to know what's coming our way, maybe we could request that Paul let us know
Mhm.
if that helped you. But that's up to you. I think what's the most helpful for you because you deal with
Is
it
it-
so much.
Is it a hardship to request that applications be submitted by email?
No, in fact, we do it now. It's just once in a while, there'll be someone that sends something on paper.
Yeah,
Once in a
most
while.
municipalities that we deal with these days, including the city of New York, all require everything to be submitted electronically
Mhm.
because of COVID and because of efficiency.
Mhm.
That kind of leads us to this other little wrinkle, which is initially the town clerk, and maybe still does, require a paper copy for the town record. So having the applicant have like one thing on paper is kind of helpful.
Ah,
But
Okay.
that Meryl's been in touch with the town clerk, and she's looking into what the best practices these days. Is the town all digital? Is all digital acceptable, or is this paper copy still required?
mhm.
I will call her again because I did call her and she was going to look into it and I haven't heard from her. So do we need a motion about this?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Are there any concerns about doing this?
I'm just trying to, it just seems like an extra step, but if we need a paper copy anyway, I guess it's fine.
It's only if the people are gonna most likely give it to us by email anyway. It's a very odd, once in a blue moon thing when it just arrives on paper. And it does say in our application that we're putting both things because we don't want to discourage, if it's a hardship for people to produce something
Yeah.
digitally, then we want to be able to offer both.
Tom,
Yeah.
were you raising your hand?
Yeah, I would go digital. I had a conversation with one of the selectmen about 2 weeks ago. And she told me that it was about my application, my disclosure form. Never, it just went back and forth to different people because it was a paper copy. And she apologized, and then they basically are trying, she told me they're trying to go all digital, all electronic, because with COVID and the mail, and then if you send a paper copy in, there's got to be 8 or 9 copies of it made for the select board meeting. And so they're just saying, and then mail to their house. So the sense I got from the selectmen was that they're trying to go all digital now. So I would suggest that we just say, hey, we like to be digital, electronic, and leave it at that and see what happens.
One time we got an application that was done on lined paper. It was a sketch. And not everybody is real comfortable with it. 95% are, I think, but I don't think it hurts to offer an option to people that aren't, not everyone has high-speed computers and, or internet and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, we
It's,
have a pretty elderly population too. There still people who aren't comfortable with computers. So
very
but
rare, very rare.
we want to encourage digital, but I think this is just to give people the option that don't have the option otherwise.
Yeah.
Just did a historic review for a house in Provincetown, and I've pulled several permits lately for projects in Provincetown, and I've done everything from home, even make the payments. There's no writing checks or anything. I've been dropping off checks to the Wellfleet Building Department, but Provincetown, it's all done right from the desk down here.
Yeah.
It's been pretty easy, actually.
I find the same thing in most places.
Well, so I guess the question is, do we want to say only digital, and then what do we do if it turns out somebody doesn't have the ability to?
I think because some people may not have the capacity to submit digitally, I think we have to say that we would prefer digital submissions, but we'll accept paper submissions.
Yeah, which is what we're planning to do. So that's okay.
Yeah.
So so I'd like to make a motion that that we do that that we let's see, that we make it clear, which we are already, by the way, on the FAQs that we're putting on the website soon, that we want the applications to be digital, but if that's not possible, paper is acceptable. And if it is paper, that it be submitted to the building inspector.
I second that.
Thank you. And so I vote aye.
Lydia, I.
Carol, I.
Jim, I.
Tom, I.
Luke, I.
Gordon, aye.
We're so unanimous tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. So the next item is several items. The first is community preservation. Did you want to say something about that, Lydia?
Well, Tom is the community preservation person for the commission, and I don't know if he has an update. I did want to talk about the Squires Pond Form B.
Hmm.
Okay.
The only update I can give you on the CPC is that we didn't meet last month, and we are on the 3rd Wednesday of this month for our first meeting for the year.
Great. Okay. And in terms of the historic plan, do you want to say anything about that, Tom?
I have no update on the historic plan.
I know
Since last reading. No, no update.
Okay, I know we've gotten a number of Form Bs from Lynn for editing. Are we okay with that, Lydia?
Yeah, I did those.
That was good of you. You were very efficient.
It was a very cold day, so I stayed home all day and I read through them.
Yeah, Lynn appreciated the quick response, Lydia, just so you
That's nice.
know.
Thank you.
All right, and then Lydia, you wanted to talk about Squires Lane or Pond Lane.
So let's see, this is the old Form B. And it's from 1983. Lynn, I wrote to Lynn and said there's been a lot of interest in this house because of about 2 or 3 people have written into the commission wanting to know more about that. We don't review projects outside of meetings, and gave them all refer them to the application and the website and so on. And I also offered them this copy, this Form B from 1983. Lynn, if we decide tonight to ask Lynn to do a full Form B on the house, that might be helpful. She said that the deed research goes back to 1857.
That's
And
great.
that this part right here, if you can see my cursor kind of moving around,
Mhm.
that might be an old Cape, a section of an old Cape style house.
Huh.
And it is a hodgepodge for sure. But I think it's
A
kind of
Form B would be a good
quirky, and I
idea.
think it might be good it'll be good to have. Yeah. Do you
It
want to
would be
make
good
a,
idea.
oh, yeah.
Carol, go ahead.
No, I was just about to say, I think it'd be a good idea to do it. I did want to ask Lydia a question. There are some Form Bs that I've had trouble finding, like Squires Pond Road and things on Circuit Avenue. They don't seem to be listed under under that road, those roads and avenues. Is there another
Oh.
way of finding them?
Sometimes, well, in Macris, it's always best to leave off the court part, like circuit court, and just try, did you try circuit alone? Just that one word?
I haven't tried Circuit. I did just try Squires Pond and it doesn't come up.
Well, you could try just Squire and see what comes up,
Okay,
rather than putting in sometimes it'll be without the apostrophe. And so less is more when searching things on the mhc-macros.net.
yeah. I was surprised when you found this because I had tried and couldn't find anything. So, or even the whole road. Okay, good.
I probably just put in Squire. I think I probably just did that.
Okay,
Some people call it lane, some people call it road also. Another thing. So you can leave that part out. Just put in Squire Wellfleet.
okay. I see.
I thought in the Macros instructions, it seems to say only to put in the number of the building and not to put in the street address. So that's what I've been doing, and that's worked pretty well. Then you get, all the 15s on all of the streets that have a 15, but you can find it.
Yeah, but sometimes the numbers have been changed since 83.
No.
Hard too.
Do we want a motion for this, Lydia?
Sure. It is a $300, I think that's basically what well, actually Tom would be able to say. It would cost. It's part of our historic plan and community preservation money that's spent on these fact sheets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does seem like it's useful for us in considering the questions people have to have an updated one. So I'll make a motion that we get a new Form B for this property. Anybody second it?
I second it.
I'm sorry, Tom, did you want to say something about this?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be happy to get a hold of Lynn and we can move some. She hasn't completed all the Form Bs that we have a contract for, so we can add this one to the top of the list if you'd like to do that.
That'd be
And
great.
right now they're $220 a piece. That's the contract we signed with her, not $300.
Even better.
That's the good news.
So we have a motion on the floor. I vote aye.
Lydia,
Gordon, aye.
Aye. Carol,
Tom, I.
Jim, I.
Luke, I.
That's everybody.
That's everybody?
Gordon, I don't know if you got me.
Okay, thanks, Gordon. Okay, so that's it for that item. And then Lydia wanted to mention upcoming Mass Historical Commission workshops.
Yes, periodically, Christopher Skelly, who I think is the government liaison to historical commissions, does slide presentations, and it's a very good public speaker, and he has some workshops scheduled. There's smallish groups, I think,
Yeah,
groups of less than 10 people, less than 10 people maybe. I know Meryl was able to sign up for one, and I believe I sent it to everybody, but I can send it again by email. He asks you to register, and there's a number of dates coming up, some more in February, and then I think some into March as well. That might be a good thing to do. That's all for me on that.
Okay. And then the next item is correspondence.
Right. So we use Gmail. Not everybody loves it. And I tried to give the passwords to Gordon, well, to Jim, and I think you gave it to Gordon. Were you able to access it? Okay.
I'm sorry, Gordon, we didn't have a phone call about this, so we'll do that this week.
Okay.
I had some problems, frankly. I received the message that this device isn't recognized, and then I was to call a telephone number that is not mine to receive the code. So I'm sort of
Okay.
blocked in terms of how I'm to get the magic number. I guess it gives me access if I'm an authorized user.
It might have been my cell phone number. So
Oh, okay.
I think it's just a safety
You'll
feature.
receive several of those, I think.
Yeah.
problem is that if you do not have a Gmail account.
I
or a
do.
Google Account, oh, you do though? Okay. then you
Yeah.
should have trouble. See, I don't want one, and they refuse to let me in because I don't.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm having a little trouble hearing, but I received the link and there was a passcode that was in the link that said use the passcode, and I logged on to Zoom and I just put the passcode in. Is that what we're talking about?
No, well, sorry. Go ahead, Meryl.
We're talking about getting access to the Gmail account that is the Wellfleet Historical Commission Gmail account.
That I
Yeah.
have not done.
Yeah. So
Maybe
I'll
you and I
call
could
you-
talk about that.
Yeah, I'll call you
Okay.
about that.
I think if we work it out so we can access it, that's a good way to receive correspondence. Sometimes we forward it to everybody also, but that's a lot of forwarding. So that's why there's this kind of central place for the mail.
It's
Well,
useful too, because when we're considering properties, that information is there often ahead of time before you receive the agenda. So if you want to visit properties ahead of time, you'll get more advance notice.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So, so Lydia, you'll help Jim with that, and I'll help Gordon with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And our Instagram account is still going strong. Luke, are you on Instagram at all? Have you been able to see your tools that I've been posting?
No, actually, I haven't, but I would like to. I'm not a big Instagram follower, so but I will, and I can do that through Michelle, I think, here, and yeah.
You can also do it just by going on the Town of Wellfleet website, and you go to the web page for the Wellfleet Historical Commission, and it's on there, so you can just check it out.
Oh, okay.
I did credit you.
Oh, thanks.
So I've been doing a tool quiz lately where I post something. Of course, the pegs aren't really tools, so my husband remonstrated me for having them on the tool quiz. But I did do the broad axe and the ads, which are down below in the pictures. But anyway, it's been fun, and I really appreciate your sharing all of those wonderful pictures with me.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks.
Sure.
Yeah. And I've been posting a few houses in between, and we'll continue to do that. Gordon and Jim, just so you know, this is something that we started basically to try to gin up interest in historic preservation and get people and give people more information about what we do and why we do it. And I've just started in the last several months. So I kind of started with information about Wellfleet history, and I'm now moving into talking about the houses and the history of the houses. But this section on tools is about how well built the older houses are and how they were put together like pieces of furniture. So
That sounds great.
Every
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Good.
that you post. Meryl, it's every Tuesday that you get those, post those.
well, I've been posting the tools every Tuesday, and then I'm trying to do one in between. It's hard to always get to it, but yeah.
Great.
Okay, and in terms of membership, we have 2 alternate positions available, but we're very pleased to have 2 new members. We're so glad that the 2 of you are with us. And if people have thoughts about alternates, that would be lovely. But luckily, it's going to be easier to get a quorum now. So that's great.
Thank you for inviting me.
You're very welcome.
We'd be
Great to
happier.
have you both on board.
Thank you.
And then minutes is the next item. Carol, do you want to?
Well, I sent the minutes out. You should have them. I
They were
sent them
great.
out Monday.
I sent the. they were
So
perfect, I thought.
we need to move to accept the minutes.
I think so.
So I move to accept the minutes.
I'll second it.
And let's see, probably Gordon and Jim, have you received the minutes? But you weren't here for the meeting, so you don't have to.
I abstain.
Can't vote on it. If you would like the minutes from the last meeting, I'd be glad to send them to you. But you wouldn't be able to vote on it because you weren't at the meeting.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second, so I vote aye.
Lydia, aye.
Carol?
Luke, aye.
Yeah, that's it.
Tom, are you there?
Ooh,
Tom was leaving at 6 o'clock. He wrote.
Oh, that's right. Okay. So but 4 is a quorum, right? We're all right?
yeah, we're
Or-
good.
Is 4 a quorum now?
Yeah, 4 out of 7.
Okay, good.
So that's a majority.
Hooray. Okay, anything with regard to account? Well, that would be Tom, so we can't talk about that.
Yep, there is a new town accountant though, which is good, very good. She's working on organizing everything.
Yeah, very important. Okay, and our next meeting is March 3rd at 5 p.m.
Terrific.
Any questions on anybody's part? Then I think we're ready to adjourn.
Fabulous.
Okay.
I'll move to adjourn.
I'll second the motion. I don't think, do we need to vote on that too?
Well, I think without objection, so moved or
So
whatever.
be it. Okay, see you
Thanks
all.
very much. It's nice to meet everyone.
6:03.
It's great to have you with us. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks, Gordon.
Take
Thanks, Jim.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Night.